everyone, and welcome back to another live stream. Yes, we're here live in your living rooms on a Thursday night. Sorry it took me so long, but I have to share the video out, and it takes for ages because my computer's upstairs. Now my tablet's not working. Hang on, let's go and get the other one. Okay, let's start that again, shall we? Because the stupid tablet's not working. My old one, which keeps buggering about anyway. And it's decided now on stream not to work. Thank you for that. Right, let's go to the other one. Here I am. Hello? Here I am. Hello? Right, I was just doing a sound check, make sure I'm getting through. Hello everyone and welcome to the stream. We're finally starting. A few technical difficulties at the start there, but anyway, right. Hello, Will F1 Gaming. He says, have you heard about the winner of Josh's t-shirt giveaway? I haven't. Who is the winner of Josh's t-shirt giveaway? Hello, old man. That's me. Matthew7657. Hello. He says Drum Tank versus the Marked Gamer will be an epic title battle, in my opinion. I think you're probably right there. I think you're probably right. And it could result in a few more collisions before the end of the season. Oh, that was my entertainment of the week. That was. It really was my entertainment of the week. Now, I have been on the internet since last week. Yes. Well, of course I have. I've been on the internet since last week, and there is actually 17 chapters of this Breaking Point, and we've only reached chapter 7. So, yeah, slight little problem. That means that next week, instead of a Hookster Talks, I'm going to have to come back and do this again to get this finished, and possibly next Friday as well. But that's okay. We'll get it done. No problems. But yeah, I've been a little bit slow in getting this done, unfortunately. So, but yeah, there you go. We're on chapter 7 and there's 17 chapters. Anyway, we will grind it out and see what we can get done tonight in Breaking Point Part 3. Wait a minute, Matthew says... Take your time with it. We don't mind. Oh, thanks, Matt. Yeah, I will take my time. Don't worry. I'm not gonna rush through this section and try and get up to about chapter 12 by next week. It's not a problem. I mean, I know that F1's back, but it's not back until next weekend. So I'll just, because I mean, there won't be much to talk about on Hookster Talks anyway. It'll only be like, oh, who do you think's going to win, and the usual rubbish. So we can get rid of that because quite possibly I'll might have a video on Monday to do, depending on how the race has gone, or might not if it's been completely boring. But anyway, it doesn't matter. So I will definitely come back next Thursday and hopefully finish it But if I don't, I don't. It's just one of those things. But as I say, I'm not going to rush through right now and try and get as much as I can. I'm just going to carry on at the same pace that I started with. So don't worry, it's not going to be a rush to try and get through. But if we do get through a lot, then we do. But, I do prefer to sort of stop and talk to you guys out there in the chat as well. So I'm going to continue to do that. No problem. Okay, then, let's continue with Breaking Point Part 3. Bahrain Grand Prix, 3 months later. Chapter 7, 2023. We're on 2023 now, and a fresh start. While the 2022 season exposed them to the harsh realities of life as a team on the F1 grid, Connor Sports Butler Global Racing Team, that's a mouthful, looks set to bounce back with a newly invigorated team, now helmed by fan favourite and former driver Casper Ackerman. Yes, I remember that from last week. That was exciting. Hello, Mr. Helium Trophy. Welcome to the stream, sir. Let's have a look and see what he says before we continue. I always knew Dave wouldn't finish it by June 2025. Be quiet, Mr. Will F. Gaming. Be shush. I will get it finished, don't worry. But as I say, as Matt's just said, don't worry. I'm not going to rush. Because I like to talk to you guys while I'm doing this as well. So I'm not going to suddenly sit here for the next 2 hours and ignore you all and just try and get through as much as I can. As I say, it's fine because I've still got next week. As I say, I was going to do a Hooks to Talks next week, but I just won't now. So I'll just carry on with this. And I hope to get it finished next week. That would be the plan, because otherwise I don't know where I'm going to be able to fit in the final sort of part. So I might have to do it on next Friday to get it done. But we will see. We'll see what happens. Hello, Helium Trophy says probably won't be going to Spa. Oh no! I remember you said you were going to Spa. What's the problem? Please tell me in the chat as I advance into the next chapter of Break. I forgot what I was doing for a minute there. Yes, that's an old man problem. Breaking Point Part 2.
Did Casper being around affect you going into the 23 season?
I have bigger things going on than Casper.
Do you have any regrets about 2023? Anything you'd have done differently?
No, I'm in a good place now. Besides, what's to regret about being the story of the season?
Such a dick. And he said, what the hell? We got a cardboard cutout of him now. What is going on here? A cardboard cutout of Devon Butler. Unbelievable scenes. Let's go to the news. Trackside chats with Casper Ackerman. He's back, and this time, oh god, the phone's ringing. Hello? Oh, it's the big boss man. Better accept this. Hello?
Dad!
Devon.
How's business?
Same as ever, hiring and firing. How's racing?
Oh, ducking and driving.
You all prepared?
Of course, I've double-checked the strategy changes. I'm just going over my notes now. Everything's covered, just like always. They won't see me for dust.
Spoken like a true butler. Just remember, we've got a lot on the line this season.
Yeah, I know.
Dev, I'm serious. You're carrying this team, don't forget that.
Yeah, well, you keep signing these second-rate drivers. I can't do all the work.
Just remember where we'd be. Where you'd be if this were all to go belly up.
Just trust me, Dad. You've got nothing to worry about.
Devon, I mean it. If you don't bring your A game, it's back to the bottom of the pile. Do you really want that?
No. No, I don't.
Just keep it in mind. Now go out there and show me what you can do.
Already on it. I'll get you those points, Dad.
Boy. Speak later.
Oh, Butler's been told off by Daddy. He's been. I wonder if this is what the Lawrence Stroll and Lance Stroll conversations are like. Do you think they are? Good boy, you naughty boy. Bad boy, get in your basket. No doggy treats for you. But that's how it goes. I bet that's how it goes. Right, that's the news done. Social. Let's get to the interweb. F1 23 is here. Been waiting for months for this. A new racing season is the best part of the year. Yes. Connor Sport, the ones to watch, says Rosanna Tennant, thank you very much. What else have we got? Oh, there he is, Mr. David Twat Coulthard. You can feel the anticipation all through the paddock, real sense of excitement. Jimmy Broadbent is here as well. Jimma! He says, I'm amazed that Jackson stuck around at Connosport this season, the way he was treated in 22. I blame the Butlers. So do I. Oh God, Crofty, and Ackerman and Jackson reunion. I'm starting to feel all nostalgic. Anyway, what else we got? Anything else? Dave Gaming. That's not me. The wait is over. The new F1 season. There you go. Right, what we got in the emails? First race of the season. Kurt's working so hard. Yes. Good luck, thank you, Gasper. Boys, I'm sending you separately, away from the rest of the team. Oh, is it a dirty picture? Not only do I know what's like to be out there in the driving seat, but we've also got history together, which means I know how good you both are behind the wheel. I've expected a lot from you both, but in return I'll be behind you 100%. Wowzers, me trousers. Kay Henderson says it's Davidoff's birthday next month, the 23rd. What do you want to do? Personally? Absolutely nothing. Mark Priestley, yes, F1 Elvis. Devon, it's a very straightforward layout for the most part here, as you know, but there are a couple of important features it's worth reminding you about. First of all, turn 10, acute left-hander. Oh God, that's too boring, isn't it? That's too boring. Right, yes, let's have a look at the chat before we continue to the next chapter. Helio Jones is too much money for one of those all-exclusive things and the naggy worry of a 2021 repeat. Yeah, could be well on for some rain, I think, at Spa. There's a lot of rain going around at the moment right now, and we've still got well over a week to go. So, yeah, it could be. That would be a disappointment, especially if you spent quite a bit of money as well to end up with 3 laps under the safety car, which is what happened, wasn't it? Oh, my God. What a disappointment. Matthew says Butler looks a bit like Joseph. Hang on, let me take my glasses off and put the other ones on. You know, I can definitely see some certain similarities. I would go along with that. The other option we're thinking of is Le Mans. Now, of course, that's a great racetrack to go for a visit. That's a great racetrack. Le Mans. Oh yes. And not to promote any fellow F1 YouTubers, but Jimmy Broadbent's just done a new video of him going around the Nordschleife with his girlfriend. So yeah, you might want to check that out, but not until you've watched this. Please, I beg you. Anyway, let's continue then. Oh, it's time for us to do a race. So it looks like it's down to the grindstone. Let's see if we can fail at this one. With his confidence high, Devon Butler looks set to start the season strong at the Bahrain Grand Prix.
It was a race against time in 2004 to get Sakhir ready for its Grand Prix debut. But today, the only race is where it matters, right on track. Welcome to the Bahrain Grand Prix. We go racing today around the 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit, with 15 corners and 2 good passing opportunities into turns 1 and 4. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left tyre into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. So with the race not far away from starting, here's what today's grid rundown looks like. Max Verstappen put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he'll start from pole position. And it's Charles Leclerc in P2. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Fernando Alonso, Russell, Perez, Hamilton, Sainz, Stroll, Ocon, Norris, Albon, Oscar Piastri, Jackson, Gasly, Tsunoda, Bottas, Butler, Sargent, Joe, Magnussen, De Vries, and Nico Hulkenberg rounds off the grid. That's it then, it's time to go racing as we head down trackside for today's race. 2023 Bahrain. We're about to get going, and I hope you've enjoyed the build-up just as much as we have. The teams are ready on the grid, they're ready in the garages too, but in the commentary box alongside me, are you ready, Ant?
Of course I'm ready, Crofty. New season, new challenges for all of them out there, drivers and teams. I love this part of the year, Crofty. This is where it really kicks off, and you get to showcase all that hard work you've done through the winter months. Does it pay off?
Yeah, that's the question, isn't it? What does the 2023 season have in store for us? We're about to find out.
Okay, Devon, it's a brand new season, you know that, so let's start it as we mean to go on, okay? Okay? Let's get out there, come on.
Wait, I'm playing as Devon Butler. Playing as Devon Butler. I'm just going to crash into everyone. That's what I'm going to do. Bloody hell, it looks like we've got to do a full race here. Right, I better check the comments before I continue then, because this could be a... it's only going to be a 25% race, isn't it? So this could be a 22-minute job. So I might be able to speak much. Hedro says, "Oh, my girlfriend loves the thought of a Nordschleife for 24-hour race." Yeah, that would sound epic. Nice 24 hours of the Nordschleife. Nice one. Nice one. Okay then, let's get into this. Race strategy. Dave playing as his hero. Yep, that's right. Devon Butler. No, we don't want the alternative strategy, do we? Default. Should we go for that one? Why do they always have mediums on? Oh, because I'm starting so far down the grid, I suppose, is it? How many laps is this then? Oh, 14 laps. It is a full race. Look at those tyres though. Look, they're hardly going to wear. That's very weird. Car setup. Can we change this as well? Ooh, we can, but what are we on? Setup 3 at Bahrain. That seems a little bit, I don't know. Oh well, we'll leave it as it is, and let's do it then. So I do apologise if I don't talk much for the next 22 minutes. Hopefully it's not going to be it's not 35% because I just said 14 laps. That's 25% at Bahrain. So here we go then. I will get a few bits of conversation out, but won't be a lot now for the next 22 minutes. So I do apologise. Let's go. Finish in the top 5? Are you having a bubble bath? What the holy... Come on, get away, pastry. Oh, God. Oh, no. Oh, I've blown it. I've blown it. Yeah, let's just restart that now. Let's just restart that. Yeah, because we don't want to do that, do we? No, we don't want to do that. No. Okay. Don't forget, Dave, this is live. You can't edit it out later. Oh, cock. I was just warming up there, just warming up. Take it easy, Dave, take it easy. Oh, God.
Okay, you're in the top 10.
Come on.
Nice work, mate. That brings you up a place. Now use DRS. DRS now available. Okay, we're approaching the pit window. You're going to be on softs. Okay, keep an eye on that gap ahead, please. 1.6 seconds. box, we're coming in this lap. Okay, so we're leading our teammate by 11.0 seconds.
Oh, I thought I was going to slow into that car then. That was close.
Aiden's coming in for his stop now. Okay, let's go now. Come on. Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one. Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit. We'll receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
Fernando!
Good job. Nice overtake. car ahead's coming to fit the mediums. Car ahead now running medium tyres.
There's my target. It's Charlie boy. No, I've done it. I'm in, I just realised. Devon Butler!
Okay, that's us with 5 laps of fuel remaining. 5 laps of fuel left. Okay, we've got 4 laps of fuel remaining. We're increasing the gap on the car behind by 5/10 a lap. catching the car ahead. Well done, but be aware these tyres need to get us to the end of this race. Right, we've got enough fuel for 3 more laps. Okay, mate, final lap. Keep your concentration and let's bring it home. The gap to your teammate behind is 26.4 seconds.
Yes!
Right, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Get in there. And the secondary objective achieved as well.
Surprises in the midfield. So where do we start, Ant?
Well, I think we have to look at Connor Sport. For me, they've been the biggest surprise so far. And Butler, he's doing fantastically well.
The thing is, though, they've got to sustain that over the course
Butler.
of the season, and that is easier said than done. Certainly one Casper Ackerman will be hoping that this season is better than his last. The drivers are en route to the podium as we speak. What a fantastic win for the Red Bull team. They performed exceptionally today, keeping us firmly on the edge of our seats throughout the entirety of the race. Congratulations to everybody at the team.
La 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 la. Well done, Mr. Butler. Get in there. Yes, Devon. Oh.
What a start to the season, Devon. You must be happy with that performance.
Yeah, it just comes so naturally to me. I don't really think anything of it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying it wasn't impressive. You seem impressed. I'm sure others do too. And rightfully so. I'm just saying that it was actually pretty easy for me today.
Well, you've had
major share of run-ins in the past for teammate Aidan Jackson. Crucial question is that behind you? How do you feel about him right now?
Yeah, fine. Look, the main difference between me and Aiden is I know how to take a joke. I personally want him to perform at his best, but whenever I try to give him just a little friendly advice, he takes it so personally. I mean, he is a very difficult man to have a conversation with. He's all right, you know. He's cool, but he's very serious.
Well, Connor Sport surprised everyone by appointing Casper Ackerman as team principal this season. So how do you feel about taking orders from someone that you've got such a history with?
Oh, I like having old Casper back. Yeah, it's comforting, you know. It's like putting on an old pair of shoes, a very old pair of shoes. How old is Casper now? 60?
Fucker.
He gets to live vicariously through me, which must be a real thrill. So I'm pleased. Very pleased.
Well, embarking on a new year, but what would a successful season look like for you in 2023?
Well, call me deluded, but I'm going to really try to make Casper Ackerman laugh at something. And if I can achieve it, I'll consider that a successful season. No, it's good. You've got to have ambitious goals in this sport, so I'm aiming as high as humanly possible.
Well, thank you for chatting with us. Great to have your time.
Devon bloody Butler. Post-race, Chapter 7. Devon starts the season in fantastic form with an impressive result for Connor Sport in Sakhir. Yes, indeedy, Mr. McGreedy. Hello, Scott. Welcome to the stream. Matthew says, wow, Dave's actually doing well. Shut up. For once, says Scott. Shut up. And it's legit, not scripted. Things I thought I'd never see since at least the all seasons on F1 2010 where, to be honest, Dave was bloody fast. Scripted. How dare you, scripted. Still can't beat Verstappen, though. Well, who can, Matt? Who can? Hello, Planal Plessy. What's just Devon bloody Butler? Yeah, if only Ryan McCain from Token Race Drive was in this game. If only. Sadly, that's just the stuff of dreams, Lionel Plessy, isn't it? But I would love to see Ryan McCain. Yes, Ryan McCain in this game. Oh, look, that almost rhymed. Ryan McCain in this game. I would love to see that. I certainly would.
Great race out there today, just in the highlights. Listen, I know we've had our run-ins and, well, last season was last season. Fresh start for the team. What do you say?
Oh, Jackson. Yeah. Cheers, mate.
He wasn't even listening to. Love it.
The 2023 season was completely different for Connor Sport.
How so?
But the car, for one. We'd ironed out the most critical issues, and it was just starting to live up to its potential.
Can we talk about what happened with Devon?
No, we cannot. Oh, there we go. Where's Longbottom, says Matt. I've no idea. No idea, Matt. No idea. Right, let's get back to the news. Let's get back into the news. Oh, God, phone's ringing. Who is it? Oh, it's Daddy. It's Daddy. Daddy Stroll. I better accept it. Hello?
Yeah, what is it?
Now that's how a butler takes care of business.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Carrying the team, Devon, as well as the butler name. I couldn't be happier.
Yeah, went well.
Well, I can't wait to hear what those clowns, Ackerman and Connor, have to say.
Yeah.
You okay, Devon?
What? Oh, yeah, I'm fine. I'm, just adrenaline, Dad. I really pushed it out there today, you know. I just need to simmer down a bit.
Of course you do. Let's talk later. I'll be in meetings, but call me whenever you like, and I'm proud of you, son. Let's just make sure today's result isn't just a one-off. Eh?
All right. Ciao.
Oh, the plot thickens. What's up with Devon Butler? He seems very strange, very strange. Has he been abducted by aliens by any chance? I've no idea, but his behaviour is just very weird. Anyway, an unpredictable start to the season, but Devon Butler came good. One of the strongest performances in years. He finished the race in second. I finished the race in second, not him. Me with my controller and my superb ace driving skills from 20 years ago. That's what. Unbelievable. Let's go to the socials. Mr. Brake says Ackerman's clearly had a word. Second, Devon Butler's on fire. Yes, wow, Devon the Demon Butler. Didn't think I'd ever see a drive like that. Yes, indeed. Where's the famous ones? Come on. Oh my God, it's Jess McFadden. Oh, someone reach me for the sick bucket. Where's the sick bucket, please? It's Jess. Insert asterisk. Lefty. Uninsert asterisk. McFadden. Oh God. Some interesting results here. Not sure how accurate an indicator it'll be for the rest of the season. Thank you, Jess McFadden. Well done. Loving your work. Loving it. Not really. Technical Terry. It's Benjamin Bloody Daly. Tiamat Margie. Put another shrimp on the Barbie. I've got no hair because I've shaved it all off. That's a long word, isn't it? A long sentence, yes. For the record, Casper Ackerman is not 60 years old. Devon bringing the banter as ever. Yes. Noble F1. Pace, form, focus. Bravo, Devon Butler. A fantastic start to the season. Anthony Davison says, have Connor Sport finally tamed Butler and Jackson? Was Ackerman the key? And Natalie, all the stars are in here tonight. Look at them. Natalie Pinkham says, couldn't ask for more from Butler today. Second place and the fastest lap to boot. What a turnaround for Connor Sport. I totally agree. Got anything from David Twet Coulthard? No, just a grumpy old fan. Oh, I thought that was me. Okay then, we are all caught up. Email. What can I say? I am humbled. I knew Connor Sport were good, but this was something else. Boys, could you slow down a little next time? I'm still setting in and couldn't keep up. Wow. An update on the car issue. Looks like we're going to get legally involved after all. The insurance are happy to pay the claim for the damage to the body. Oh God, that sounds boring, doesn't it? Yes, we've seen all those. Right, that's it. Boom, boom, bada boom, 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 boom. Are any of the current WTF1 staff on the social media thing? I've no idea. Probably not. Probably not. I haven't caught up with WTF1 for a couple of weeks because their main man's gone on holiday. That's Andre Harrison. So they've just been a little bit all over the place last couple of weeks, just sporadically spamming videos at us with their short videos, because they've given up making long videos now because no one watches them, so they just keep spamming short videos. They do get good views, but it's not difficult to get views on a short video. It really isn't. Really, I mean, I could probably make a short of me naked rubbing a banana, and I'd probably get about 1 million views. To be honest, yes. Don't worry, that video is never going to appear in my channel. But what I'm saying is I could possibly do that and probably get 1 million views, because that's how easy it is to get short views. It's not difficult. It's not difficult whatsoever. So, yeah. Tell me about it, says Matthew. They're probably making shorts to try to keep their channel relevant. Yeah, I think so. Or maybe it's just because Andre's on holiday, I don't know. But they have been throwing out those short videos the last 2 weeks, absolutely chucking them, just anything you could think of. I mean, don't forget, we're on the off season of Formula One. There's really nothing to talk about. The biggest talking point I've heard today is the fact that Felipe Massa is going to sue for the 2008 championship. That's made me very sad, very sad. But apart from that, there's absolutely nothing to talk about, and yet they're just coming up with ideas. I'm sure they've got this big bucket full of ideas, bits of paper with ideas written on it. They're just throwing it into this bucket. They're just every day they're just picking out 2 or 3 to just put into a video, because it's just unbelievable. It really is unbelievable, the amount of short videos. But yeah, it's just basically to keep them relevant. I noticed on the P1 channel with Matt and Tommy that they're going to be interviewing most of the F1 drivers on the grid. Yes. What's WTF1 going to be doing? Nothing. But there you go. Right. Let's go to the next chapter. Australian Grand Prix several weeks later. Chapter 8. A strong start to the season for Connor Sport has the team in high spirits as the paddock heads to Melbourne for the Australian Grand Prix. Lionel Petty says, I wonder why Massa is doing that now, 15 years later. Yeah, me too, Lionel. I was very disappointed to even start reading that, to be honest. It sets a terrible precedent. It really does, because, you know, if this actually goes through and it gets approved, there's going to be people in sport now claiming for everything. I mean, let's face it, Damon Hill, 1994 championship, Michael Schumacher smashed into him and doing his suspension. Is he justified now in saying that the 94 championship was his? I mean, technically, if the Massa thing goes through and it's approved, then yes. And then everyone's going to start coming out of the woodwork and start saying, oh, yeah, that championship in God knows what year, when that was mine. And then, of course, we know what's going to happen there. It's obviously the 2021 championship is going to be absolutely contested 100%. We know that for a fact. That is going to be, if that goes through with Massa, then the 2021 championship is definitely going to be one of the first ones to be contested. And it's just terrible. It really is. It's bad for the sport. I'm just hoping and praying actually that it doesn't get put through and it's actually abandoned, or you know, it goes to the lawyers and the lawyers say no, we can't be bothered with this, and it gets stopped before it gets any ground, because as soon as it starts getting any ground, it could go through and it could actually happen, and you know, it's going to be so much a waste of money, to be honest. You know, you can't go back to the past to try and basically improve your future. But you just can't go back to the past and start changing things that have happened. The past is the past. It's over. It's sport. It was live. It happened. Things happen that aren't, you know, that don't go your way. Not just in Formula One, but in other sports as well. I mean, you know, football and stuff like that, you know, the final seconds, the penalty shootouts and stuff like that. And this is the problem that I've got. If this goes through, then this could filter down into other sports as well, which is the big problem. Not just Formula One. This could filter down into football, you know, tennis. Oh my God! Think of the amount of times, even snooker, it could filter down into, you know, oh no, that championship was mine, and it's just a terrible precedent. I don't know why Felipe's doing it, as you say, 15 years later. I mean, you know, it's like getting back with your ex-girlfriend after 15 years, isn't it? I mean, you know, the feelings aren't the same. You're just doing it because, you know, you can't. You've been looking for the last 15 years for, you know, the one that was as good as this ex-girlfriend, and you haven't found it. So you've gone back to her to try and, you know, reignite that. But it's not there, because everyone changes, everyone moves on, and what you felt back then in the day is not the same as how you feel today. And so this is how I feel about Felipe Massa. I don't understand what he's hoping to gain from it. And if he wins and the championship is awarded to him, it'll be terrible for him, because his reputation, Felipe Massa, has always been, his reputation has been a really nice guy, always has been, and I think that's going to put a dent into it. Now, if he does get this come through and it actually goes through, and he gets the 2008 championship, it's going to put a serious dent in his rather untarnished, and I think it's been I can't think of anything really that was tarnished about Felipe Massa's career. So this I think would definitely put a dent in it, and would look from the outside as trying to I don't know whether he's going to be awarded any money or whatever, but if he does, then that would put a serious dent in his reputation, I think. So I'm just hoping that this doesn't go through. I'm just hoping that I'm hoping it doesn't even get to as far as a courtroom, to be honest. I'm hoping that someone's going to see sense and say, look, no, 15 years is too long. I mean, there used to be what do they call it, a statute of limitation, wasn't it? After a certain amount of time, you couldn't claim any of this stuff anyway. So I'm a little bit surprised that it is going through after 15 years anyway. I'm sure there should be some kind of limit on that. But as I say, if this goes through, terrible precedent. And of course, another one that's just sprung to mind is the 2008 with Lewis Hamilton, although that's very contentious because there wasn't really, he did win it. He did win the championship on that last race because of Timo Glock. So I can't really, but yeah, again, people could start arguing and, it could just turn into a complete farce and a complete clusterfuck. It really could. And so I'm hoping that that's not even going to get off the ground running. I'm very surprised what is going on in Felipe Massa's head, to be honest. I really am. Plump says, I wonder why Massa's doing that. And he's like, yeah, F1 is a Mickey Mouse show. It is. It really is. If Singapore 2008 is deemed null and void, then there's going to be a storm brewing. Yeah, that of course is another one. Yeah, Singapore, of course, the crash gate with anyone who possibly doesn't remember what happened there was basically Flavio Briatore, the boss of the team at Renault, ordered Nelson Piquet Jr., and I mean ordered him to crash into the wall to allow Fernando Alonso to win the race. I mean, that was a terrible precedent anyway, because he could have injured himself severely. He had no idea when he hit that wall how much damage would be done to the car, how much damage would have been done to him. I mean, as he hit the wall, a bit of suspension could have flown off and gone straight into his helmet. He had no idea. It was the most stupidest thing I've possibly ever seen in Formula One, to be honest. I can't believe Flavio gave the order. I can't believe that Nelson Piquet Jr. actually understood and went through with it. I mean, could you imagine giving that order to someone like Lewis Hamilton or even Max Verstappen? They'd either start laughing at you or they'd say, no, go fuck yourself. There's no way I'm going to put my car into the wall just to let my teammate win. And, that's what they do. So, I mean, I've got no idea about, Piquet Jr. I don't know. He just seemed at the time, and he seems still now, all these years later, to have been a very, very weak-minded, very, very submissive sort of personality. To actually put yourself in that position and actually crash your car on purpose into a situation where you could have been seriously hurt. I mean, it's just crazy. It really is crazy. And yeah. And they also say Massa's win at Spa was gifted. Yep, that's true. Scott says on Singapore 2008, I really enjoyed that race, but the bloody Flavio Biscuit, whatever his name is, Flavio Biscuit, we don't care who his name is now, because that's what we're going to call him. Flavio Biscuit, yes. Flavio Briatore, yes, the ex-boss of Benetton, of course, when Michael Schumacher was there. Then, of course, it moved on to Renault. And, yeah, he was a terrible boss, a terrible team boss. He was there through all the years when Benetton were accused of cheating. So in my eyes, he knew exactly what was going on at that team. So yeah, he was just a really bad boss. The only good thing about him is apparently he did have sexual relations with Naomi Campbell. So there you go. Everyone knows the model. I don't know if she's still modelling now because she must be getting on a bit because she was around in my days, so she must be sort of in her 50s now. But yes, he did actually have carnal relations with Naomi Campbell. So I've got to give him 5 points for that. 5 points for Flavio Briatore, but the rest of him was just odious. Really was odious. And I'm just glad he was kicked out of Formula One. I'm pretty sure forever because he's never coming back. And that's good because we don't need that in the sport. But yeah, Flavio Briatore, absolute, he was determined to win, even if it meant cheating. And for a lot of the times during the Benetton years, it was cheating. It was cheating. Several times in 94, I'm pretty sure that car was illegal. And it was proved in 95 several times that the car was illegal. So, yeah, and that was all under the stewardship of Flavio Briatore, who thankfully is no longer in the sport. Yes, no longer in the sport. My favourite car ever would have won the Williams livery. Yeah, we love the Williams livery. Plot says on Family Fortunes there was a funny blooper. Name a bird with a long neck. Naomi Campbell. Yes, I like that. I like that indeed. A bird with a long neck, Naomi Campbell. Yes. She was great in her day. Apparently, she was an absolute nightmare as a person. I'm not going to comment on that because obviously, I have no idea whether she is or not. I'm just a normal civilian. I've no idea what these super. But apparently, from what I read, she is an absolute nightmare as a person. So up her own bumhole, it's unbelievable. But that's the rumor anyway. But perhaps she's mellowed out in her older years now. Perhaps she's quite a nice person. Who knows? But anyway, let's get on with the next chapter of Breaking Point. And I know for a fact she once appeared on a 1994 episode of Top of the Pops. Yes, she did. I remember that. Yes, that was back in my days when I was a Top of the Pops fanatic. Yes, I can't remember when I stopped watching Top of the Pops. I'm pretty sure it was around about not long after that, 94, 95. That was, yeah, somewhere around there. Anyway, let's continue. Oh, blimey, back to this again. More news. Oh, F2 superstar Callie Mayer catching up with a champion. Yes. Are we going to get inside Callie Mayer again at some point in this walkthrough? Let's hope so. Social, back to the socials. Tommy T99, good to see Ackerman back. Oh God, it's Jess McFadden again. Got my eyes on Devon Butler today. Have you really? You look great. Your practice race will be even better. Thank you very much. What else we got? Arafat, the great man, is here. Everyone bow now. Everyone bow and go, we are not worthy. We are not worthy. Big prediction away from the top three. That'll be a massive mid-tier shake-up as Connor Sport put all to shame. Robots, whisks, more robots, more whisks. Anyone else? Mr. Blake's back. Noble's back. There he is. There's Mr. David Twet Coulthard. With Ricardo serving as Red Bull's reserve driver, the home fans can now throw their full support behind rookie Oscar Piastri. Rookie Oscar Piastri. Wowzers. Can't believe it. Let's go to the emails. Phil Paget says, can you come down to the garage early? Phil, that sounds very, very rude and very naughty. Of course I can. I can come down to the garage early. Everything's running perfectly. We've had some last minute tweaks of the transmissions. Could squeeze a little more performance out of it. But I'd love you down in the garage so I can go through it with you face to... This is getting very, very dodgy. Very, very dodgy. This is like most of my WhatsApp messages. What is going on here? What is going on? No, I'm sorry. I'm not going down to the garage with you, Phil Paget. No, go away. Bloody hell. Casper says, boys, we've had a great start to the season, but now always the risky part. Let's keep the energy up, not take our eyes off the prize. Yarra Valley booked hotel. A hotel? Oh, also, Nigel Mansell's driving gloves have finally arrived. Oh, Nigel, it's Nigel Mansell. It's Senna. It's Prost. It's Hill. Oh, God. Right, let's go into the next chapter now. Just check the messages before we go. Scott says, Monaco 2000, Brundle Goodwalk. What do I do, Keith? Tuffy at the back. So how come you raced at Monaco? I came to watch. Francis says, I know 1994 was when they brought the Radio 1 DJs back and had those celebrity presenters. Oh, yes, I remember that. Oh, God, that wasn't very successful. 1991 to 1994 was when they had those unknowns presenting it. One of them, Mark Franklin, he was 17 when he started. Yeah, I remember that as well. Bloody hell, I'm getting a trip down memory lane here. I remember those unknowns presenters. Yeah, that was the dying days. Or I know it didn't die. When did it die? 99, wasn't it? Top of the Pops, it died. But I know it was on its last legs at that point. Top of the Pops, yes, on its last legs, yes. Right, let's go to the race. Australian Grand Prix mid-race. A solid performance in qualifying as a team in a good position at the Australian Grand Prix. Now, these are the chapters that I get stuck on because I've got very little time to do what I need to do. Let's try and see what happens.
Here comes Butler. Good pace here down the straight. Into the corner we go. That's a little too late, and he nearly goes off the track on the exit. And is that a lapse in concentration?
I think just a little bit of desperate driving there, Crofty. He's pushing way too hard. I mean, there's nobody else around him at this stage.
Okay, Devon, we're going to have to ease off from the brakes. Brakes don't feel right. Okay, we'll have a look at it, but you're going to see a drop-off in performance, I'm afraid. What? Why? We've asked you to take it easy on the last lap, but pushing has made the issue even worse. So we're just going to have to live with it for now. What are you talking about? Listen, just do what you can, please, Devon. Come on.
What have I got to do? Hold on as many positions as you can. Oh, God, blood. Oh, God. I hate these ones. I hate these ones.
Battery charge is high. Let's use that overtake button a bit more.
I got a Ferrari up me. I got a Ferrari up me backside. Oh God! Stay there. No, 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 no. Bad boy. Back in your basket. Oh no, I've gone wide. No, no, you bugger. No, 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 no. Coming through, coming through. No! Bloody hell, this is difficult. So I'm going to run out of battery. Because I'm using it just to defend.
That's just 5 laps of fuel remaining.
No, where's Carlos? No! Oh, switch back, switch back. No! Oh no, you bugger! No! Oh, oh, oh! Mummy! Mummy! No! 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 Let me go, you bugger! Well, that's buggered that right up, isn't it? Oh no, no!
Okay, we lost the position. Try to keep focus.
Shut up, Mark! I haven't lost a position. Stop going past me, you buggers! No, I got wide, bugger! Oh, cock wombles! Anyway, third time, lads. Third time's the charm, as I always say. Here we go. There we go. Gonna do it now. Whew.
Okay, so the gap to the car ahead, 3.3 seconds.
bloody car lost. Oh, get the car around. No, you bugger.
Okay, you're in the top 10.
Oh, God. Who's this now trying to get past me? No, I can't accept losing positions. Oh, it's Pierre Gasly. Mon Dieu! Hopefully I'm alright for the objective because it said try to hang on to the main position. I've only lost one, so I should be okay.
Okay, that's us with 5 laps of fuel remaining. 5 laps of fuel left.
Sacre bleu is right. I've got pastry now. Look at them, they're coming out of the woodwork. Leave me alone, you buggers. Turn it, turn it. No, don't hit me, Gasly.
Okay, we've got 4 laps of fuel remaining.
No! Done it, done it, done it, got through, got through. Oh, 2 more laps. 2 more laps of this torture. This is worse than watching a Saw movie. I want to play a game. I put the key inside your eyeball. Yes. You can get it out, but you've got to put your hands inside this box, and inside this box are razor knives. Yes.
Gap to the car in front is 13.7 seconds. Okay, just 2 laps of fuel remaining now. Okay, mate, it's the final lap of the race. Final lap.
Thank God for that. Leave me alone. Leave me alone, Gasly. Oh. No! Come on, get it round, get it round. No! Oh, have I done it? I hope so. Jesus.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Ferme.
Look, this isn't the first time we've seen Devin Butler go rogue, but the question is, what are Connor Sport going to do about it?
Well, it's really hard. We've seen so many times before, Crofty, in the past, so hard to control your drivers. In a way, they're their own entity, but on the top of it, they're working for the team, and that's what you want. It's a very hard situation to manage.
And working for the team, Casper Ackermann wanted to make a clean break for this year. This does feel, though, that it's something that they might have had to have dealt with last season.
It's really not what they wanted. A repeat of what happened in the past, and you cannot let it go on. It can't continue. They're just damaging the reputation of the team and their own reputation as well. They have to sort it out. I'm sure they'll be having words.
So it's all changed here in Australia, and as the teams acclimatised to their new standings, so will we. Red Bull put up an outstanding fight for the front position today, and it's great to see it paid off for them. They do so much for the sport that you can't help but be delighted by today's race win.
Yes.
Whatever the reason, you didn't respond to a team order today, Devon. In Hungary last season, you said it was a comms issue. The team said the comms were fine. So what's your version of events this time?
Dude, driving, okay? If I say there's a comms issue, it's because the order didn't come through. I stand by what I said. I didn't get the order in Hungary. I didn't get the order today.
Devon, you finished the race with a compromised car today. What was that like for you?
I did what I could in the circumstances, but you know what? I really need a car that I can push without worrying that I'm going to break something. So if the team can't give me a car like that, what am I supposed to do?
Now, some have been saying that you do get preferential treatment because your father funds the team. What do you say to those allegations?
I think people don't know my old man. I actually think he prefers Aiden, as ridiculous as that sounds. He's not one for shortcuts. He'd be annoyed if he thought that I was angling for anything.
So how do you expect Connor Sport to perform this season based on your performance so far?
Actually, I'm sorry to say the team's got a serious problem, and its name is Aiden Jackson. And I'm afraid to say he is the slowest driver on the grid. So there's only so good a season you can have with something like that going on. But you know what? We're going to try our best. No. No, seriously. I'm teasing. But come on, Aiden, come on. What's going on, mate?
Thank you so much for your time.
What a dick. Chapter 8. The promising start turned into a difficult end with Devon having to finish the race with a compromised car. Well, that was torture. That really was torture. Oh my god. I was just about to read that and the message disappeared. Blind says, I honestly think where Mark and that other one, Tony Doughty, left, the music got rubbish. Yeah, a few episodes from that era had to be skipped, all because of a certain presenter who didn't want his episode shown. His name was Adrian Rose. Scott says, oh, bring down the countdown clock. And a 1993 episode got skipped because it had Rolf Harris. Oh, God. Rolf Harris, yes. Everyone's favourite, okay? But just like Jimmy Savile, he also managed to fool everybody, including me. Now, I used to sit here, I think it was possibly a Sunday evening, and watch Animal Hospital. If anyone remembers that, in the UK, Animal Hospital, I'm pretty sure it was on a Sunday evening, with Rolf Harris, and I used to sit here and weep buckets, absolute buckets, over what was happening to the animals, because obviously it was about animals in hospital, so you know the story. And he fooled everyone with his personality. He even fooled Her Majesty the Queen, because she commissioned him to do portraits, didn't she? She even fooled Her Majesty, and Her Majesty the Queen was nobody's fool, believe me. But he even managed to do that as well, to fool everyone into thinking that he was, some kind of really nice guy, friendly uncle, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. He just like Jimmy Savile, he managed to convince everyone. And, then years later, and it was years later because he had a very successful career, before this even came out, it came out about what he'd got up to, and then of course he was sent to jail, and I think when he got out he was 83 years old, wasn't he? So yeah, but just very, very sad time, very, very sad for me, because a lot of these people were my childhood. All the Radio 1 DJs were my childhood. My sister used to go to the Radio 1 road shows, which used to be on all the beaches during the summertime. All the big beaches, they used to all host these Radio 1 road shows, and all the DJs were like respected like gods. They really were, really, you know, this was a different time, don't forget, but they were all, you know, they were respected as really, you know, good people. And sadly now it's all filtered down that a lot of them, I would say actually over 50% of them were up to no good, and a lot of that was involving, I've got to be careful here, it was involving people underage as well. And it's just, you know, it's just very sad, because I was a Radio 1 fanatic back in the day. You know, I used to listen to all those guys because, you know, back in the day the radio was the internet, because we didn't have any internet back then. So radio was our main source of entertainment, and I was working in a full-time job at that point. And, you know, I had Radio 1 on, we had it on in our warehouse constantly. That was what was playing all through the day, and we used to have like a little stereo up one end of the warehouse, and we used to just leave it there and have it on full volume, so we could just about hear it when we were down the bottom of the warehouse as well. And that's all we had. That was, you know, that was my adult life and childhood as well. I was listening to Radio 1 when I was only like 14 or 15 years old. One of my personal favourites for Radio 1 was Lenny Henry. That I thought the Lenny Henry show was the best show I'd ever heard on radio. I recorded every episode. Sadly, I threw all those copies away. I should have kept them, really, because, I mean, and some of the characters that Lenny Henry had back in the day were just absolutely amazing. Delbert Wilkins was one of them. I mean, that was just, he was a pirate radio DJ, and that was just so funny to me, because if anyone doesn't know, I actually ran a pirate radio station in 1982 on my own. I did it for about 2 weeks. I ended up with 100 listeners in the end. Yes, 100 listeners. I was very, very proud of that. But I actually stopped after 2 weeks because I was just afraid of getting, you know, arrested by the constabulary. So yeah, but for 2 weeks I did run a pirate radio station in 1982. And it was great times. It really was. I run it 24/7. So when I went to sleep, I had this very long, twin tape deck system back in the day, which would play 2 tapes, and it would just play them continuously. So once it had finished the first tape, then it'd go to the second one, then it'd go back to the first one again. And I just used to have that on the loop, and that used to run all through the night while I was asleep. And then when I was, you know, back during the day again, yeah, this was 1982. I wasn't in work then. In fact, I was still at school, if I remember rightly, or getting near to the end of my schooling anyway. Yeah, 1982. And then during the day, I'd then come on for like 2-hour slots, about 3 times a day. So there's about 6 hours in total on this pirate radio station. Anyway, that's another story. Well, back into my past. And so yeah, Delbert Wilkins, Lenny Henry, he was a pirate radio DJ. It was just the best thing ever to me. It really was. And a lot of his characters that he did, sadly, you know, he sort of lost it. Lenny Henry lost it over the years and really didn't end up anywhere near as funny as those original radio characters that he did. And, you know, they were just great to me. Helium Trophy says, was that the guy who felt distraught with the death of someone on Noel Edmonds' TV show? He was the co-presenter. I think it was, yeah, if I remember rightly. Oh, Plant says, I think that was John Peel. Oh. You should use this adjective, holding on to as many positions as you can. I think I did it then, Matt. I think I did it. Doesn't matter if you lose positions, don't need to restart. Oh. Thanks for telling me that. Well, it doesn't matter. I wouldn't have been able to see the messages come up so quick you can't see them half the time, so I wouldn't have been able to see that anyway, so never mind. Ah, bless, he wants to impress the press. Go on, Carlos. No, not go on, Carlos. He can't accept losing positions. No, I bloody well can't. He did Travis in sacre bleu. You go on whatever happens. It's like the season 1 all seasons episode. Nothing beats Dave failing. That's true. Maybe you should just let Cool MK do the rest of the series. Thanks everyone for watching tonight. You have been awesome, and I'll catch you in the next video. unbelievable scenes. Oh, let MK do it for you. Oh, why don't you tell everyone in the chat, Matthew, that MK happens to be 10 years older than me? Why don't you tell them all that? Why don't you do that, eh? Helium Trophy says, and some Norwegian female vet who didn't mind sticking her fingers up an animal's arse. Oh yes, I remember that. Yeah, she seemed a little bit too enthusiastic to do that on the regular as well. I must admit, it was like, it seems like it's got a slight temperature. Oh, let's stick our finger up there and oh yes, let's examine the prostate, as they used to say back in the day. Let's examine the prostate. Yes, I remember that. Yeah, sticking the old fingers up the animal's arse. I used to have a cat myself, and he went through his life being very, very sick at times. In fact, he disappeared for 10 days. 10 days, because he was. I noticed a couple of days before he wasn't feeling well, and I thought, okay, it's just something that will happen, and he'll come back. But then after 2 days, he disappeared. He went outside and he never came back. And I was like, oh my! And I was like worried sick, because I'm an animal lover, and I was completely worried sick. And I was searching people's gardens. I was putting notes through the door and what have you, and saying, please, if you see him, I don't think he's very well. Can you notify him? Anyway, it was 10 days later. 10 days later, I just literally looked out. I think I just got up and I literally just looked out into my garden, and there he was sitting on like the patio. Unbelievable. He was sitting there. He was panting like anything. God knows where he'd been for the last 10 days. God knows. But this was a cat that was very, very sick. That's all I can say. Very, very sick. I quickly bundled him up. I had a car back then, chucked him into the car and took him straight to the vet. And the vet turned around to me and she said, about another 6 hours and he would have been gone. He would have been gone. She says he doesn't look like he's drunk anything for the last 10 days. Maybe he had some rainwater at some point during that time, but yeah, that was it. So yeah, he was almost a goner. So he spent a lot of time in the animal hospital. And I remember the vet in there once, she said, oh, well, we're going to have to stick a finger up. And I have never heard this noise come out of a cat, and I never want to hear it again. It was an insane. It wasn't even the noise that any cat makes. It was just, the finger went up and it was like, meow. It was just amazing noise. I've never heard a noise like it in all my life. And I was like, okay. And the look on his face, it was like... unbelievable. Boyle says, speaking of Jimmy, BBC has shown a drama about him. He's being played by Steve Coogan. Will not be watching it. The BBC doing a drama on someone who they protected for years is ridiculous. Yeah, I quite agree. I also don't agree that most of what went on there was at Broadcasting House. So instead of solving the problem, they just got rid of Broadcasting House and moved somewhere else, didn't they? Which I don't agree with either. Yeah, it's just like sweeping a carpet under the problem and saying, oh, yeah, well, we'll just move somewhere else. That's it. And then no one can moan about it anymore, can they? That's basically what it was. So yeah, wasn't a... Scott says, to be honest, in my opinion, the music on all the F1 games was horrible and up to the motorsport. The best we've had to me was 2010. Yeah, I agree with that. And 2011. Very solid in the music department. Yeah, I haven't listened to any of the music on this game here whatsoever. The first thing I do is switch the standard, the copyrighted music off, and I put on the non-copyrighted one so it can play during YouTube. But I haven't even listened to any of the tracks because... No, it's not for me. I'm sorry, it's not for me. Scott said, we're decent, but the rest was not so good to me. Blind Prince says, also worth mentioning, Sir Michael Parkinson died. He was the greatest chat show host, letting his guests do the talking. Yes, he was one of the greatest. Very, very sad to see he died. I do believe, I'm not so sure, but I think he's had quite a few problems in the last sort of 6 or 7 years, hasn't he? I'm pretty sure he's had like Alzheimer's, if I remember rightly. But yeah, one of the best interviewers. If you want to see one of the most crazy, it must be on YouTube somewhere. Just if you want to see one of the craziest interviews he's ever done, just go on YouTube and just put in Meg Ryan, because that is one of the weirdest interviews I've ever seen that Michael's done. I still swear to this day that she was either on drugs or she'd had some kind of personal tragedy like 15 minutes before the show went on air, and she was just, putting her grief out there, because I couldn't even understand what she was going on about. Michael, she was on there promoting a film, like all film stars do, promoting a film, and Michael just had this opinion of her character. This was his opinion of her character, and she was just, every time he asked her a question, she just ripped into him like it was a personal attack. He wasn't talking about Meg Ryan. He was talking about the character that she was playing in this film, and yet she took every question personally as though it was a personal attack on her. And that's what made it so bizarre. And the bit at the end where he goes, I think we should maybe wrap this interview up, and she goes, yeah, I think it's for the best. It was just like absolutely crazy. Really, I've never ever seen that before. I still say to this day there was something very wrong with Meg Ryan on that day. I'm still think it was some kind of drug related incident. I don't know, but there was just something very wrong with her, because she's an, I can't say actress because you have to use the plural now. She is an actor. Okay, they're doing a job. Whether you agree of what their acting skill was doing that film or not, it doesn't make any difference. They're just doing a job. I mean, Chris Hemsworth knows that playing Thor, it's not Shakespeare. He knows that, but he just runs with it and he goes with it. So if someone said to him, "Oh, I don't think you're a very good actor, playing Thor," he wouldn't start getting all offended, because he knows what that gig is. He knows that it's just, something that he's playing. I mean, it's been very successful for him, but as we say, it's not Shakespeare, so you just get on with it. But that interview, Meg Ryan just, she was taking it all completely personally, like he was personally attacking Meg Ryan, which Michael was not doing. In fact, Michael never personally attacked anyone, as far as I can remember, in any of his interviews. There was nothing, personal or bad about Michael Parkinson. He did ask some hard questions at times, but they were questions that you'd ask anybody, to be honest. So yeah, very sad to see Michael Parkinson has now passed away. And of course, let's not forget he was part of the BBC drama that fooled everyone, Ghostwatch. Yes, for all you youngsters out there, I saw that live. I saw Ghostwatch live. It was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life. I didn't even know what was going on. I suppose it was probably, if you compared it today in the internet, it was probably the first internet trolling. That's how you could describe the whole of the show. It was a complete internet troll. It really was, because it was set in a house with I think it was a family with 2 kids. And there was all these ghostly goings on in the house. There was stuff moving and stuff like that. And in the end, it just went into this absolute complete mess. There was like plates flying everywhere. The lights were flickering on and off. Everyone was shouting in the corner. Then this wind started blowing. They had these like blowing machines blowing wind everywhere, and it was just but the thing was, so many people thought that it was real, and it was actually going on, because it was filmed as a real thing that was actually live and going on, and so many people were convinced. It was a lot like the radio show back in, I think it was 1938, War of the Worlds, when that was first shown on the radio. People started leaving their homes and running for the hills because they actually thought that there was a real alien invasion coming, because it sounded so real to them back in 1938. And this was the same thing, because it was filmed as something that seemed real. Everyone started to believe it. If you look at it now, I think it is on YouTube. I'm pretty sure I've seen it on YouTube. May only be clips of it, but I don't think the whole show, because the whole thing ran for, I think it was a couple of hours or even longer. So I don't think the whole thing was on there, but there might be clips of it. But if you look at it now, you'd probably go, "What?" It's because of all the internet trolling that's gone on over the years. You'd look at it now and go, "What? How could anybody be fooled by that?" That's what you'd say. But yes, lots of people were exactly the same as how they were fooled back in 1938 with the War of the Worlds. They believed it because if you transmit something that seems real, why would you not believe it? This all goes back to, are we all living in the Matrix anyway? Because a lot of people think that we are, Andrew Tate. So yeah, it was just incredible, and yeah, that was a great, possibly the greatest thing the BBC has ever done in regards to drama and actually fooling everyone. I think that's probably, I can't think of anything else since then. Well, of course they couldn't do that again because everyone would have known what was going on. Matthew says, what's your opinion of Devon Butler so far? I love Devon Butler. Of course I'm going to love Devon Butler. He's the greatest. He's old Devon Butler. Planal Pleasure says, everyone knows F1 97 has the best music. Techno in the arcade mode and rock in the great... Yes, I'll have to agree with you there. And the stupid thing is, yeah, they never licensed any of that music. That music is not copyrighted. You could use any one of those tracks from the arcade mode or the Grand Prix mode, and you can play those on YouTube, and there's no... which means that the people that made that music... I believe they had a couple of session players who did that music in the F1 97, but those people never got paid anything apart from the money they would have been paid to make music for the game. They've never got any royalties outside of that. They've really missed a trick there, especially if you compare it to, say, like Paul McCartney, who... The rumours are he gets 37p every time a Beatles record is played on the radio. That's the rumour. I don't know whether that's still true or not. It was, years ago. It's probably with inflation got to 50p now, but we'll still say he gets 27p every time a Beatles record is played on the radio. But here's the thing. Now, I'm going back quite a few years now, so I don't know whether it's relevant today because of the changing way of radio, but I think about 10 years ago the statistic was that there was a Beatles song played somewhere in the world every 6 seconds. So basically Paul McCartney was getting 27p every 6 seconds, which is just a frightening statistic. But when you think about it, you put all the work in back in the 60s, and as we all know, the Beatles' back catalogue is very, very small. You could listen to every single Beatles song. I think it's 10 hours. Someone said. I think it's 10 hours. Every single Beatles song, and you're done in 10 hours. I think it's 10. It might only be 3 hours. I can't remember, but I think it's 10. Every single Beatles song you can do in 10 hours. Okay, so the back catalogue is not that big. But he did all that work back in the 60s, and of course when he left to do Wings as well in the 70s. Didn't really see much of him in the 80s. Of course, he had the collaboration with Michael Jackson, and then of course Michael Jackson stole all his songs, But apart from that, and then of course towards the 80s didn't see much of him. 90s really didn't see anything of it, and so really did all his work in the 60s and the 70s. Okay, but because of that, he gets 27. I'm going back about 10 years. He gets about 27p every 6 seconds. That's the kind of thing we as normal people just would have dreamed of doing, wouldn't it? I mean, just think now if we'd have made a hit record or a hit load of records and we were getting 27p every 6 seconds. I mean, it's the stuff of dreams, isn't it? For us normal people, it's never going to happen. But for Paul McCartney, he did. So it was great. Also, Sir Michael did a show on Radio 2 on Sundays for 11 years. I think the show started the same week Steve Wright joined the station. Yes, I remember him on Radio 2 on a Sunday. Yes, I used to listen to it quite a lot, in fact. But his radio show was about playing jazz music as well as interviewing a guest and a look at showbiz stuff. Yeah, it was. My mum told me she watched Ghostwatch with my older sister, who at the time was only 2 years old. Yes, It was just magical. It really was absolutely magical. It's sadly one of those situations where you have to be there to appreciate. You have to be there live watching it to appreciate it. I'll say if you go back and look at it now, I'll say it's definitely on YouTube. I've seen it. You're looking at it and you go, what? And you, Mr. Plynor, would probably, say to your mum if you saw that on YouTube now and go, what on earth were you, sort of, but to be there at the time, it really did feel real. It really did feel real. Now, the question is, was I fooled by it? I'd say 50-50. Once the big fan started blowing and all the wind started howling and the lights started flashing on and off, that was the point when I said, yeah, okay, that's nice work. But in the initial stages, because it was very slow, it was just like plates moving and stuff like that, which was obviously just someone underneath the table, probably with a rod going through the table to move the plate, or it may be just on a couple of magnets. That was the old trick. You just put 2 magnets in and you could put the other magnet underneath the table, and then you could slide a plate up and down through the force of the magnets. That was the old trick anyway. So someone doing that, but it looked really real and realistic. And of course the presenters were presenting it in a totally real way. They weren't smirking or laughing or anything. It was a proper drama. It actually in places felt like a news broadcast. It felt like a news broadcast. So it was just great. I think I heard a story that someone took their own life after believing the film was real. Yes, I did hear that, and I do believe that is what happened. It's it's unfortunate, but it does happen, and that will continue to happen forever, unfortunately. The same as I also heard that 6 people in the US actually drank bleach after hearing President Trump say that was a cure for COVID. I understand that in the US 6 people actually did drink bleach thinking that would cure their COVID. So yeah, as I say, it's still going to happen today as it happened back then. Andy Blythe and Martin Joustra did the music for F1 90. Wow, great names. They later went on to do music for CBBC, including Dick and Dom shows. Wow, I didn't know that. Well, Andy Blythe and Martin Joustra, if I got that right, I'm going to do a shout out to you and say you were geniuses on F1 97. Well done, but you needed to have a word with your agent there because you missed a trick not getting that music copyrighted, because I'll tell you, it's great music and you could have made a few bob on that. Yes, you could have made a few bob, definitely. My favourite music, says Scott, on the F1 game, both on F1 2010, Watercolour by Pendulum, and Oh the Run by, I think, Genesis. I love that sort of music. Yes, indeed. The Beatles made a lot of releases. They also appeared on Top of the Pops, a lot in the 60s, but of course most of their footage is wiped. Yeah, because a lot of Top of the Pops, of course, was done live, and they didn't record it like they did with Doctor Who. That was done live and they didn't record it, and so a lot of the early Doctor Who episodes are missing, which is a shame. I mean, if you think about it, they used to have like those old cine cameras back in the day, didn't they, in the 60s, and you had a television. They could have done like what most F1 YouTubers used to do when they started. You remember when they didn't have capture cards, they used to stick a camera in front of the TV. You remember those days? And that was the footage. They could have done that with like Doctor Who and that, couldn't they? They could have just stuck an old cine camera. Unfortunately, there wouldn't have been sound because there wasn't any sound on cine film. But if they'd have done that, they could have at least had the picture of these lost episodes, and they probably could have put the sound in, like, simulated it or whatever, because there's lots of clever things they can do with AI now. So they could have restored the sound, but without the picture, it's very, very, very difficult. I know some of the episodes of Doctor Who, some of the lost episodes where they just had the sound, they started doing it in animation, didn't they? Which is pretty decent, I have to say. It's better than nothing. Ghostwatch is on the Internet Archive somewhere. Oh, nice. There was also a time when Exorcist got banned for the UK for about 15 years due to its content. Yes, indeed. It did, indeed. For its content, which by today's standards, as I say, if you go and look at it, it's It's really not that bad. Right, how long have we been on air now? Oh! Unfortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached the 2-hour spot. And we've only done 2 chapters tonight. No, hang on. Yes, we've done 2 chapters. We've only done 2 chapters tonight. Oh, my God. And we've done 2 hours. Well, there you go. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's no rush. There's no rush. We'll get it done. Don't worry. We'll get it done. So anyway, I'd just like to say thanks so much for watching tonight, everyone. You have been awesome as always. Thank you for watching my... Mind you, we did have that full race at the start, so that used up quite a bit of time, that 22-minute race, didn't we? So, yeah, that's why we haven't got very far tonight. Anyway, thanks so much for watching, everyone. You have been awesome, as always. Thanks, as always, to everyone in the chat, because it's great to do the chat as well. As everyone knows who's a regular viewer, I do YouTube basically for the chat and the comments, not just for, you know... I certainly don't do it for the money. You must be joking. So yeah, I do it for the chat and the comments, so it's great to see all the comments and chatting there. That's why I don't get very far on Breaking Point, because I spend most of the time just chatting about other things when I should be doing the other things. But anyway, it doesn't matter. Thank you everyone, to Plonel Plessy, to Scott Barnes, to Matthew 7657, to Helium Trophy, he was in there as well. I think that was everybody. Chat won't let me go up any further than that, but I know Will was in there right at the start as well, so thank you to Will as well. So thanks everyone. You have been awesome as always. I hope you've enjoyed a little bit of entertainment tonight, and I do like to talk about other things, not just Formula One and stuff from the past as well. In fact, I think I've probably talked more than I've actually played tonight, but anyway, it doesn't matter. We're on chapter 8. We will continue. Well, we'll definitely continue next Thursday, as I say, because I've got a time slot for that. After that, I'll just have to work out some kind of time slot to fit the rest in. Anyway, thanks everyone. Awesome as always. Thanks very much for the support on the videos and everything that's going on. I'll see you on Sunday for the All Seasons. Thank you and good night.